Azun. So the grandson doesn't need Mashiach. So he says, yes, that Mashiach will be b'mekemei, mitzad that he has the union of Yerusha, so he doesn't need Mashiach. And the Rebbe is Mitzayim, but it says, v'in Yamid Melech. Yamid Melech, there's no Mashiach. There's no Mashiach. There's no Shaman HaMishcha. So Mashiach is B'chlal not getting Nimshach. He's not getting Nimshach B'chlal. There's a suffix if anybody's ever going to be Mashiachim, and even if anybody's Mashiachim, it's going to be like after Binyan Beis HaMikdash, and Kibbutz Nidchi Yisrael, and Tchias HaMesim, and then somebody's going to come to be Nimshach Yashikoyach. Like without his Mashiach, he wouldn't be Mashiach. But like the Rambam is a Mashiach. The Alts Geton. So you can wait the Beis HaMikdash, Shemakabbos B'nidchi Yisrael. There is nothing else. The Mashiach is like Stamki Yehuda V'Eid L'Krav. Like it's just kind of going a poetic thing. Who needs the Mashiach? So why do we call him Mashiach? And the Tzemach Tzedek says in Mitzvahs Mini Melech that the ganze from Melech HaMashiach is a Melech HaMashiach who made it the Gasogin Teda because he'll have such a profound understanding of Teda. The Hagam that Mashiach will be Yelamed is Kol Kula, including Moshe Rabbeinu and the others, and that Mashiach himself will have a much deeper and more profound understanding of Teda. And that's why he's called Melech. He's called Melech. It's a description of the lofty level of Torah that he will understand that's beyond anybody's possibility of fathoming. So the whole reason he's called Melech is because of Torah, says the Tzemach Tzedek. If us said I'm Melech HaMashiach, it doesn't have a Rebbe. Let the Fama Mashiach, the Fama Rebbe. Mashiach is a Rebbe. A Rebbe was learned Torah to Yidden. And it's not a secret. Every Yid knows we're waiting for Mashiach. How come we're not waiting for the Rebbe? Why do we use the word Mashiach? So there's a murder Gesicht from the Rebbe stellt sich auf a Gemara, Pelledige Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara in Tzadik Aleph says, by a diuk in a lashon of Okim, that what's the pshat Okim? That it's a lashon of Yecheskel, a detailed lashon of Yecheskel, and the Gemara says that it's David Acher Okim Lahem. There's going to be another David. The Gemara is mefalpul. David, which David is this? And the Gemara says David HaMelech is coming back. And there's going to be Mashiach ben David. And the Gemara says a very unusual expression. That Mashiach will come in Meretz Hashem, there's going to be David, and Mashiach ben David. And there's going to be Keser upalge Keser. That's the Lashon HaGemara. Keser upalge Keser. A Kenig, and a halbe Kenig. David HaMelech is einem halben Kenig, and Mashiach is einem Kenig b'shleimus. So you have Mashiach, and you have a half of Mashiach. Because the Rambam talks about B'shnei Mashiach and Makasab Medaber. David and Mashiach and Mashiach. So man was a Keser of Palgi Keser. The Rechagav, everybody asked a question on Rashi. It's a problematic Rashi. The Beersheva asks a question that Mashiach is between the Shmein and the Sikh. And David the Melech is between the Shivaroyim. And it says Befedish that the Shivaroyim are higher than the Shmein and the Sikh. Frag the Beersheva of Rashi, how could Rashi say that Mashiach will be Keser and David HaMelech will be Palgi Keser? It's not nicht to say. It's finish nicht to say. There's Nesichi Adam, and then there's the union of Royim, and the Royim are higher than Nesichi Adam. And he brings down that the Aruch has a different girsa of the Gemara, but that's not the girsa of Rashi. Rashi says clear Mashiach is Mashiach, and David HaMelech is a Palgi Keser. Zog the Rebbe, I made it in the Nekuda. The Rebbe says the emes is that it's not two different people. This Keser, Upalgi Keser, is a study in personality. Mashiach will have a split personality. Mashiach will be a Rebbe, and Mashiach will be a Melech. Mashiach will teach Torah, and Mashiach will be Yakuf as Kol Yisrael, and ultimately Yakuf as Kol Ha'elam Kulam. Two different things. Mashiach has two distinctly different job descriptions, and they are not linked and connected one to the other. Two totally different mandates. And that's the Pshat Keser, Upalge Keser. The Rebbe asks, why do we use a Lashon Reimi? Keser is the Lashon Reimi. Julius Caesar was born by cesarean section, and he was a Keser, and because he was born by cesarean section, afterwards the Malachim were called Keser. Say Melech and Mishnah Melech. Why Keser or Palgi Keser? Like the Rebbe, because that's the in of Pedetz Geder. Mashiach is the Pedetz Geder. The first that Keser or Palgi Keser. And the Rebbe says a murder dika thing. Mashiach will be a Lamed, this call of Kulei Teda, and will be Torah Chadasha, Miti Tetzei, and the Torah of Mashiach will be Be'ein Areich to the Torah that we ever learned before. True. True. Mashiach's level of Torah is a whole different level of Torah. However, Mashiach is also going to be a Melech. And the Rebbe says, where is the Chiddush of Mashiach? In Limud HaTorah, in Yilamed Eskala or in the Inyan of Yakuf Eskala Elam? Where is the Iker Chiddush? The Rebbe says, learning Torah, you cannot say that the Torah that was learned till now is, even though it says it's Hedel, the Rebbe speaks many sikhs that it's a shleimus, the best we can do. It's along the same continuum. It's a very profound Torah, it's a very deep, it's even deeper. It's even deeper. It doesn't mean that Rebbe Kiva is not Rebbe Kiva. It doesn't mean Moshe Rabbeinu is not Moshe Rabbeinu. It doesn't mean the Baal Shem Tov is not the Baal Shem Tov. Alam gelern Torah. And Mashiach len afilu gresser. But the question that Rebbe says is, where's the Iker Chiddush of Mashiach? Which thing will Mashiach do that was never done before ever in history? And the answer is, David HaMelech captured Eretz Yisrael. Mashiach will capture the world. And that is unprecedented. And unprecedented means that the Iker Chiddush of Mashiach will be in his Malchus, not in his Torah. So I want to just stop and think for a second. Wir reden wegen Temchat Mimim, wir reden wegen Limud Achsidus, wir reden wegen Hirhuri Tshuva and Elulvinten. It's all important stuff. Does anybody in this room think for a moment that the Avedus HaTfilah of today's Bachrim steht hecher than the Avedus HaTfilah of the time of Temchat Mimim? If you do, it's Divrei Nevuah Mamash. It's L'chayra not understood. L'chayra, the Aveda from the Bachrim is given Asach Hecher Amor. And if anybody thinks that the Mesiras Nefesh, if you want to call it that people have today, you could compare to the Mesiras Nefesh from the kleine Kinder, was the Friedrich Rebbe, and they are reingekarpt or reingepflanzt Mesiras Nefesh, you call that your Mesiras Nefesh is bigger Mesiras Nefesh. You're dreaming in Technicolor. Learning Chassidus, und der Rebbe hat uns gelernt Chassidus, und der Rebbe gegossen Chassidus. The Rebbe taught more Torah than any other the Rabbeim, and the Rebbe taught deeper Torah than any of the Rabbeim. But it's all along the same continuum. A Yid was David Baveder, or learned Chassidus, is part of Zibn Deiros of Chabad. But there's one thing you do, my friends. As du bist dem Rebbe a Mensch. That the Friedrich Rebbe's Chassidim didn't do it, and the Rebbe Rashab's Chassidim didn't do it, and the Rebbe Marash's Chassidim didn't do it, and the Tzemach Tzedek and the Middle Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe, they didn't do this. And we do it. And this is the Iker Chiddush of the Rebbe. And the Iker Chiddush of the Rebbe is Malchus. Yakov Kol Yisrael. The Iker Chiddush from the Rebbe is that we can influence everybody and anybody always in every single moment of our lives. Willst du sein dem Rebbe a Mensch? You want to be the Rebbe a Soldat? You want to be the Inyan of Kol HaYetzel and Malchus and Mechemes Beis David? Then carry a pair of tefillin. A soldier is not found without ammunition. Trach Chassidus, I am his Beinen of Chassidus, Davin Baveda, learn, Niglum, Chassidus, Pave, Skafia. The Rosh Hashiva says, none of you do Avedis. I'm very impressed. Gewaldig. Aber sein dem Rebbe a Soldat meant that you don't go anywhere without a pair of tefillin. Und wo du treffst a Yid, und wenn du treffst a Yid, tust der Mann a paar tefillin. That is Melech HaMashiach. That is Chodosh. That is something which never existed before. And that is the Rebbe's Inyan, the Rebbe's Chiddush, the Rebbe's Uftu. If we want to be the Rebbe's mention, you should never chas v'shalom come a situation. Somebody will say to you, "Ta Chabadnik?" I said, "Okay. Yesh cha tefillin." You imagine the busha, the shame. You don't have a pair of tefillin. You're going to the cleaners, take tefillin. Maybe you can meet a Jew there. I can't even tell you how many Jews I put on at the cleaners tefillin. I go shopping in Nofris, in the supermarket. I put on tefillin people the whole time. That's why my wife doesn't let me go shopping during the day anymore. She's only go at 9 o'clock at night to take a 4-hour shopping trip. Don't ask, "Excuse me, sir, you're Jewish." Just hug people. I had a bar mitzvah, a wedding maybe last month. People secular, like you have no idea. Mamish, like impossible people. I didn't ask any of them to put a tefillin. I went over to them, I kissed them on the forehead, I hugged them, I told them, "They're such beautiful Yidden, I love you so much. Just roll your sleeve up, did you? Just roll your sleeve up. Just give me 2 minutes." I said, "Humor me, I'm a little crazy. Humor me. Do what it takes." You smile at a person, you give a person a hug, you tell him he's a beautiful Yid. On a late tefillin. Und das hat der Rebbe gewollt. Und das will der Rebbe. Und das meint der Rebbe. And if we will do our job properly, there is a suffix and a svek that sof kol sof. That Chayole bez David werden ausführen. Wir wollen ausführen, sof kol sof. Und sof kol sof, seinen dich dem Rebbens Kinder. Und seinen dich dem Rebbens Menschen. And you should never go anywhere. I don't want to criticize tables. Put tables on every street corner in Montreal. And the tables should be manned. Don't go without tefillin.
The Verbringen is just starting, but before we continue the Verbringen, before Mendel is going to continue, I want to use up this opportunity today, 120 years to Chetmim, to Svavel, our Kehillah was in Zbasser, that Baruch Hashem, Beis HaMedras Lubavitch has an official rov, and I would like to ask my dear friend, the Rov of Beis HaMedras Lubavitch, Arav Berl Bell, to please come and say a few words.
Chaim, I don't have anything to add to the words that were said before. It's just one nakuda. Rosh Hashiva says you have to learn Hasidus. So I have to say Savart Nigla, which is a bissel negeya to the nusach. He said before, you go up to a person and you say, do you want to put on tefillin? So when the Indian from Yaakov happens to be a machlekes Ram Marayv, it was the pshat in Yaakov. What does it mean Yaakov? It says it says that the Rambam says, Paras Nadorim, you want to be Mefer. Husband is Mefer, the nether of a wife is Yaakov. He's allowed to be Yaakov, to be Mabatal the nether. What's Pshat Yaakov? Does he have to, let's say she says she's not going to drink she's not going to drink wine. So you have to force her to drink wine. So the Ravid holds you have to force her to drink wine. The Rambam says, you tell her, drink wine. Tell her drink wine, that's Pshat Yaakov. Yaakov is, you tell him what to do. The Rebbe mal gesagt, Chaim Gutner, given Yechidus, then you from Yaakov called Yisrael, via Shaykh, one person should be Yaakov. The whole world, the Rebbe said, you can do it through Shluchim. But the Shluchim have to do it in the way the Mishalech says. So part of what it is, so Rabbi Kaplan skips through doesn't tell him what to do it either, just does it. So that's the Nachmer of the Yaakov, is Yetzidas Arai V'dei. It doesn't always work. Good. But then you gave them the Keiches from Rabbin, everybody understands what everybody's going with the Keiches from Rabbin. And we gave them the Keiches from Chassidim. And part of the way to smile and know the Yid is to understand that the way the Rebbe always looked and looks at every single Yid. And one of the Chassidus, one of the Chidushim of the Rebbe, Chidushim, I don't know so much Chassidus to be able to say the Chiddush of the Rebbe, but certainly it's repeated more in the Chassidus of the Rebbe that the neshama of a Yid is Amshacha Atzmis, and the Anila Deidi, the Aveda Milamata, is making the entire Rosh Hashanah and the entire Yom Kippur. It's all coming from the Etzem of a Yid, which is revealed during Chedesh El Mazad Avedas Lamata, Avedas Hamata, and that is the Kedusha, which is within every single Yid, and Samol Kachan Mashiach. It could very well be, ich weiß nicht, hat Art and Seichel, but in Aveda, certainly, ich kann zugeben, that the Indian von der Rebbe gekocht, als viel Mashiach, so push the Rachmanes of Yidden, and the Abbas Yisrael for Yidden is as grace, that every single Yid needs Mashiach so much, to the point that the Rachmanes is so deep, they don't even realize that they need Mashiach. And this is our job, and our schus, to be able to be the soldiers of the Rebbe, to take his vision of Ahavas Yisrael, his vision of Gilui Atzmas here in the world, and make it a reality. L'chaim Shali B'atzlocha Rab and Al Inyon L'chaim.
I just wanted to use this opportunity and to thank especially to a very special person that without him this whole entire Verbringen wouldn't happen, and with his mamash's dedication, the Malam Derech HaTeva, Nechbar L'Kelim, Reb David Partush. Shkoyach, Reb David. Also, I want to thank the Jungelei that are involved, in ועד המבצעים, Nathaniel Schwartz, Menachem Mendel, Silverstein, Menachem Lipsch, myself, and Iso Smetana. And also the Shluchim that are very much behind this whole organization, Bereisho Marav Berubel, Rav Chaim Shlomo Cohen from Mada, Rav Moshe Nur from Mונטריאול Torah Center, Rav Yossi Kessler from Chai, Rav Ronnie Fein from Chabad Zichron, and all the other shluchim that are behind this. But the very most important thing is that everybody should be part of it. It is something that belongs to every single person, as long, like the Mendel explained, and he brought out the idea that our job is to be connected to the Rebbe. This is the way that we are going to bring these girls of the Rebbe. Everybody has a responsibility, whether you have an hour, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or more, or even if you don't have the time, to make sure that you're going to be part of Mivtza Tefillin. I'd like to continue the Verbringen of Mendel of L'chaim. Zeh Mashiach.
I want to tell you a very big story. This is before I was a Baal Tshuva. When Chabad Flamingo was first built, by the way, there is no place called Flamingo, it's in Thornhill, but there's already 5 other Bati Chabad, it's just a little street. So when Chabad Flamingo was first built, there was a very nice parking lot. I'm talking now like Tufshin and Tess, before the new millennium, as they say. A new parking lot. So, you know, you're Canadians, so you're going to play hockey. Ice hockey in the winter. In the summer, roller hockey, whatever it is, hockey. So I had once a whole group of Haitian of people going to play hockey. And I was then still had to do tshuva. And I told my shver, what should I do? What should I do with these guys? So my shver, Zayn Gezot, Eric Grossman, said to me, what's with you? Go out with a pair of tefillin and put on tefillin with them. Okay, you know what? That's a good point. So I come out to this group of kids who came in to play hockey, and I said, hi guys. And they said, who are you? I said, I'm the guy you're going to pay rent to. So what are you talking about? I said, I own this place. I can throw you out of here. But I'm not going to if you pay rent. The guy says, what do you want? I said, really not very much. A promise that when you finish playing hockey, you'll come into to Chabad for just 2 minutes and put on tefillin. That's all I'm asking of you. Otherwise, I'm throwing you out of here. So the guy said a few colorful words that I can't repeat over here. And I said, really? Really? Like, you're coming to use a synagogue and I deserve to be treated like that? You use these words like, really? What am I asking? I'm letting you enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Kill the parking lot. I don't care. Unless you come inside. And one guy got ashamed. The other guy said, all right, fine. All right, okay. And true to their word, 2 hours later they came in and I put on the phone with them. I don't know, 5, 6, 10, I don't remember what it was. When I first came to my Mokum HaShlichus, this is not being recorded, right? It is. Okay. So we'll speak Lashon Nikia. There was a big Misnagid that moved into the neighborhood before me. And he was very sharp in his, shall we say, less than favorable reviews of the Chabad movement. And this is the environment I came into. When you move into a neighborhood, there's 3 kinds of Jews. There's the low-lying fruit, the mid-level fruit, and then the fruit where you have to climb like 4 ladders and you might break your neck getting it. So the low-level fruit had already been chopped up. The people who were somewhat interested in Yiddishkeit, they were already committed, connected. So I had to start off with a killer. I had no level fruit. I had to look for mid-level fruit. Okay. See, I made it. I found mid-level fruit. I even reached for the top of the tree sometimes. But a lot of low-level... It's not supposed to be recorded. Okay, that's bad. Not the low-level fruit, like, you know, like these guys were like, going with snogging, ready, like. There was one guy in particular. He's a very, like, loud,
public, maybe even flamboyant kind of guy. I knew who he was. I knew him by name. I knew who he was, but he wouldn't come to Chabad. Yeah, his first year in the basement, they moved to the building. Shvi Shel Pesach. Shvi Shel Pesach, we know Pesach is not Mamish, you know, it's Mashiach is here. Shvi Shel Pesach, this guy shows up in Shul. And I was really shocked to see him. I couldn't believe he was here. I knew who he was. Irzik Gemach Tamavater, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Kaplan, we jumped up, what's your name? Oh, my name is Yankel Tuttle. Very nice to see you. But I knew who he was. I knew that he was the guy who was the big. So I figured he came to spy. He came to check out what's going on, because, like, unfortunately for them, we're having too much hatzlacha. So
I figured it was a spy. Okay, you know, I just figured I'll be kind, friendly, generous, and move on. Comes Achim Shel Pesach, and he comes even earlier. When sitzt, the ganze Daven, sitzt. Shame mother. I couldn't wrap my head around that. I know who this guy is. Like, he's like, you know, he's the Palge Kesed over there. And then Parsha Shmini is Shabbat. So at this point, I just pulled him aside. I said, "Mind if I ask you a question?" He says, "Go ahead." I said, "Don't take this wrong, but what are you looking for here? What are you doing here? I know who you are. Like, what are you trying to see? Like, what you want to copy my tricks? Like, what is?" So he says, "I'm going to tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth." He said, a few weeks ago, my son and his friends came home one afternoon, and everybody was in a really good mood. He said, the ikar is, there was one boy whose parents, his father and mother, Rahman al-Tzan, were killed in a car accident. Rahman al-Tzan. And this boy became so bitter. He was angry at God and the Jewish people. He was just an angry boy. Angry boy. And I'm talking about, he's trying to be Makar of them to Musnag the Shishul, and this kid was very negative. And he says, I come into the house, my son is there, and this friend is there, and the kid is smiling. I said, I haven't seen him smile since his father and mother died. And I was really mystified. So I said to them, it's nice, you guys are in a good mood. What's going on? And I said to his friend, like, I haven't seen you smile in 4 years. The kid said, oh, you'll never believe what happened. He said, what happened? He said, we went to play hockey, and this rabbi came out, and he forced us to put on tefillin. It was so cool. And we put on tefillin, and they're smiling. And he says, which rabbi? Who put on tefillin? Where were you? So they described, it was Be'erech, somewhere, Chabad, Flamingos. He just said to himself, I have to go and meet this rabbi. How could he make this boy so happy? Now, I have no idea. I didn't do anything special for the boy. But remember, the Rebbe's mentioned, right? So the Rebbe's keches over here. Late film with Ayidni, something happened. And this guy says to me, I came to find out what's going on over here. Now I want to tell you something. This guy has a much bigger beard than me right now. Goes to about here. It's white. Hat a lange kapotte. Hat a schwarzer Hitler. Is a chassidische Ried. Geht in mikveh at the Tag. Learned chassidis van Davenen. And he puts on his film with people today. And this guy was Mishana, my whole community. He's a little bit out there. This is a crazy story. What happened is that this guy was like getting really into it. I decided to bring him to the kinnis with me. I brought him to the kinnis. I helped the Rebbe there that my sister-in-law got engaged then, and I had to go to L'chaim, and I don't have time to hang around with this guy. But I'm stuck with him, you know. So I didn't know what to do with him. I said, I'm afraid to show him a Fabrini, you know. So it's not like, I'm from the Shluchim after Gimel Tammuz. I didn't think I'm going to be making chassidim. I didn't think I'm going to have kapotas on my shoulder. I didn't think I'm going to the oil for Shabbos with my people. I didn't think I'm going to have beards. I didn't think I'm going to have chassidim shividim. I thought I'm going to have, like, you know, modern Orthodox of Chabad. That's what I don't know. It's after Gimel Tammuz. I'll never know that. But how could they ever become the scholars to the Rebbe? I didn't dream it could be. And the first year, too, it wasn't really. It's like, you know, people putting a tefillin, doing nice things. And this guy, I had to schlep him along to the L'chaim. Okay, take him to the L'chaim. And I'm just dreading what he's going to see, you know. Bachem is on L'chaim, or the Wildewin, and sitzt und schmeichelt. It's unbelievable. And I say to the guy, you having a good time? He says, it's unbelievable. It's just amazing. He says, amazing. I don't know what's so amazing. Amazing. Never saw it. So much love, so much friendship, so much joy. Anyway, he sat there. He comes after me and says, we got to start making for brain-ins in Flamingo. Are you joking or something? What's got Verbringens a flamingo? What am I? I'm going to sing and I'm going to say Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom, like that everyone says, or whatever. It'd be like a one-man show, one-man vaudeville show over here. Like, you must be kidding. He says, you'll teach us songs. I said, Mark, like, come on, get real. This is crazy, a crazy idea. He says, Rabbi, I love that so much. If you would make Verbringens, I'm telling you, the people would get excited. Well, I'm a big believer that when Balabatim demands something, then you have to go for it all the way. So, you know when I stopped my minyan for Mincha? When the first guy came 17 years ago and said, how come we don't have a minyan for Mincha? I said, you're right. That's it. For the next 5 years, please give this in the neshama. When a Balabas demands it, then you know. If you have a Balabas look at you and say, you don't have a minyan for Shabbos Avarchim Tillim? Okay, we can have a minyan for Shabbos Avarchim Tillim. Davening has start 9:15? Okay, Tillim will start 7 a.m. And it does. And there's a minyan for Hashem. It does. And this guy made me crazy. So we had a Verbringen. He arranged it. I said, you arrange it, I'll show up. Well, he arranged it. And we had one Verbringen, another Verbringen. And there was a tkuf for like 5 years, every month. We used to get together, the guys would eat the Chinese food, and ungesäuft, ungestoppt, and mit verbracht. Mit verbracht. Mit getrunken, Sachmaschke, and mit verbracht. And my whole community started to change. The whole community. A few years later, a guy came to me and he said, where are you going to be Gimel Thomas? I said, but I will. He says, why are you taking us with you? I'm like, are you joking or something? He says, no, we should be in Ra'el also. If you're going, we should go. I said, okay. They demand, I have to do it. And now it's a Davar HaPashut. Like people, it's Davar HaPashut them. They're in New York, they go to the oil, they go there for Shabbos. The whole community changed. By the way, this guy, from that Peretz film, from that one Hanochas film, this guy eventually started pushing me to meet a lady who was on the Jewish radio. I've been on the radio, Baruch Hashem, every single day for about the last 16 years. And I don't know if you heard it, I'm not telling you if you didn't, but like amazing stuff is going on right now. And like the sky's the limit almost. And it all comes from a guy who I never met. I never met this guy. I met him once before he died. And he used to listen to me on the radio every single day. And the whole thing, it's like you put it together, it's mind-boggling. The whole thing comes from Hanochas Tefillin one time. It comes from one time, Brechenzach, and going out and seeing a group of kids, and Pashim Dafleik mit Tefillin. Und man legt mit der jeden Film, everything is verstanden. And it's impossible to ever thoughts for it's impossible to know what you accomplish. And man legt mit der jeden Film einmal, it's impossible to know what you accomplish. Impossible. When I was on the trip to Israel with the Prime Minister Harper, with Rabbi Motchkin, I had my little film, I'm doing my gig, you know, there was a certain Yid in Toronto, very, very misnagish, sehr aggressive. He did not like Chabad. Let's put it that way. He didn't. It's his. So much so, that by not the last Siyam HaShas, the Siyam HaShas before the Siyam HaShas, so Rabbi Shachar was supposed to go. Yeah, turn it off. It's better to know.